Simpson trial.
Welcome back to our specially extended early evening news. Any minute now, after 9 long months, the most widely publicised trial in history will come to an end, and the fate of an American sporting legend, OJ Simpson, will be decided. That decision was taken yesterday in less than 4 hours by a jury of 10 women and 2 men, ordinary citizens entrusted with an extraordinary responsibility. What were the options open to that jury? They may have found Simpson guilty of the first-degree murder of his ex-wife Nicole Brown Simpson and her friend Ronald Goldman. That means they thought the killings were premeditated. The sentence would be 25 years to life with no chance of parole. They may have found him guilty of the second-degree murder of the 2 victims. That means they decided the murders weren't deliberate. Simpson would face a minimum of 15 years in jail. Parole would be possible. They may have found Simpson guilty of the first-degree murder of one of the victims, say his ex-wife, and the second-degree murder of the other. In that case, the sentences would be the same. There would be no parole. Or the jury may have acquitted Simpson on both charges. He'll then go free and can't be retried. And we are now going to go across to the courtroom in California live. This is the picture that is being sent to us now by an automatic fixed camera inside the courtroom. These are live pictures. What we're seeing there is the Great Seal of the state of California. It hangs on the wall above the seat of Judge Lance Ito. This is his courtroom. These pictures being fed to us live from inside the courtroom in Los Angeles. We have no control over the picture. As soon as the jury begin to come into the courtroom, we will see scenes inside the courtroom, although for the whole 9 months, in fact, of this case, we've not seen any juror, nor will we this evening. But any minute now, the jury will come back in, the judge, the lawyers will come back in, OJ Simpson will come back in, and Judge Lance Ito will open the envelope that he's had in his possession since last night, and the verdict will be read. The verdicts on OJ Simpson as to whether or not he is guilty or innocent of the murder of his ex-wife and her friend. We cross now to our reporter in Los Angeles, Bill Neely. Bill, what is the latest from there?
Well, the scene outside the court is quite extraordinary. Literally hundreds of people surrounded by police officers, dozens of media cameras. Quite extraordinary scene. I've covered trials in America for the last 5 years. I've certainly never seen anything like this. As you said, the camera is fixed on that Great Seal, which is right behind Judge Ito's chair. As soon as the camera moves, the court proceedings will begin. The judge will look inside the envelope, read the verdict for himself, and then the clerk of the court will read the verdict out. But you know, even in a half hour's time when this is over, this trial will not necessarily be over. If he's acquitted, the Los Angeles District Attorney says OJ Simpson will be retried. He will try him again. Though quite frankly, where they're going to find a jury of 12 people who are not biased, who have no opinions about the case, nobody here knows. If he's convicted, the defense say that they will definitely lodge an appeal. Indeed, part of that appeal is already written, and it's based on the fact that the jury has come up with a snap decision.
Bill, we're stopping you there. We're going straight over now to the pictures coming in live from the courtroom.
People represented by Ms. Clark, Mr. Darden, and Mr. Hodgman. The jury is not present. Good morning, counsel. All right, the record should reflect that earlier this morning at 9 o'clock, the court met informally with counsel here in the courtroom, because there are too many lawyers to go into chambers this morning, for the purposes of discussing notifications to the jurors regarding their rights of privacy and the interest of the news media to interview them or speak to them following the delivery of the verdict in court here today. The court distributed to the parties copies of the questionnaire that has been distributed to the jurors, and also the notice to them regarding confidentiality under 237 of the Code of Civil Procedure. And those 2 questionnaires have been returned by the jurors. They have uniformly indicated their desire that their private information remain confidential. They have also indicated to the court unanimously a desire not to speak to the attorneys after the conclusion of the trial, and not to speak with the news media either. All right, counsel, is there anything else we need to take up before I invite the jurors to join us? All right, Deputy Trower, let's have the jurors, please.
So the jury about to file back in. Remember, they deliberated for less than 4 hours after 9 months of trial, over 120 witnesses, 45,000 pages of evidence, 1,100 exhibits. People expected them to deliberate for weeks. There's OJ Simpson, his defense lawyer, Johnny Cochran, to his left, our right, in the blue suit, actually went away for a long weekend with his wife to San Francisco, expecting the jury to be out for weeks. They weren't out for weeks or even days, they were out for hours. And that's why there was the delay in reading the verdict, because the judge had to call the lawyers back to Los Angeles. So although the verdict was reached last night, that envelope was held sealed overnight until all the main players in this drama could be back in the courtroom. And it has been said that when the jury filed back in last night, they did not make eye contact with OJ Simpson, which has led legal observers to speculate that they may have found him guilty. His lawyer, OJ Simpson's lawyer, has said he is cautiously pessimistic. Well, we'll know that verdict in the trial that has held not only America, but the world enthralled for 9 months. The longest trial in American history. Certainly the most sensational. OJ Simpson is a sporting hero in America. And that automatic camera now panning down.
And the record should reflect that we have now been rejoined by all the members of our jury panel and our alternates. Good morning again, ladies and gentlemen. All right, Mrs. Robertson, would you, do you have the envelope with the sealed verdict forms, please?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, would you give those to Deputy Trower? And would you return those to our four-person juror number 1? All right, Madam Foreperson, would you please open the envelope and check the condition of the verdict forms? All right, Madam Foreperson, you've had the opportunity to review the verdict forms.
Yes.
Are they the same forms that you signed, and are they in order?
Yes, they are.
All right, would you hand those, please, to Deputy Trower? And you have signed and dated those verdict forms indicating the jury's verdict?
Yes.
All right, thank you. All right, ladies and gentlemen and of the jury, I'm going to ask that you carefully listen to the verdicts as they are being read by the clerk, Mrs. Robertson, as after the verdicts have been read, you will be asked if these are your verdicts. And I would caution the audience during the course of the reading of these verdicts to remain calm, and that if there is any disruption during the reading of the verdicts, the bailiffs will have the obligation to remove any persons disrupting these proceedings. All right, Mrs. Robertson.
The voice now of the court clerk reading the verdicts.
All right, Mr. Simpson, would you please stand and face the jury? Mrs. Robertson.
Superior Court of California, County of Los Angeles, in the matter of the people of the state of California versus Orenthal James Simpson, case number BA097211. We, the jury, in the above entitled action, find the defendant Orenthal James Simpson not guilty of the crime of murder in violation of Penal Code Section 187A, a felony upon Nicole Brown Simpson, a human being, as charged in count 1 of the information. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, is this your verdict? So say you one, so say you all.
All right, counsel, Mr. Simpson, would you be seated, please? Let's have it quiet in the courtroom, please. All right, Mrs. Robertson, would you please poll the jurors?
Just to repeat for you, OJ Simpson, not guilty of the murder of his ex-wife, not guilty of the murder of her friend Ronald Goldman. He will be a free man. We saw scenes in the courtroom of joy from his friends, but sadness and misery from the family of his ex-wife, who of course wanted a guilty verdict.
Juror number 7, as to count 1, is this your verdict? Juror number 8, as to count 1, is this your verdict? Juror number 9, as to count 1, is this your verdict?
Having lost this case.
Juror number 10, as to count 1, is this your verdict? Juror number 11, as to count 1, is this your verdict?
Marcia Clark,
Juror
who
number
led the
12, as to
prosecution,
count 1, is this your verdict?
and her team of prosecution lawyers.
Juror number 1, as to count 2, is this your verdict? Juror number 2, as to count 2, is this your verdict? Juror number 3,
And Johnny
as to
Cochran,
count
the
2, is this your
defense lawyer,
verdict?
chief
Juror number
defense
4,
lawyer,
as to
sitting
count
next to
2, is
OJ
this your
Simpson. They
verdict?
hugged each other.
Juror number 5, as to
When the
count 2,
verdict
is
was
this your
announced,
verdict?
all the indications
Juror
had
number
been,
6, as to count 2,
according
is
to
this
the
your verdict?
pundits, that the shortness
number
of
7, as
time
to count 2,
that
is
the
this your
jury were
verdict?
out would
Juror
mean
number
a
8, as
guilty
to count
verdict.
2,
It was
is this
not
your
so.
verdict? Juror number 9,
OJ
as to
Simpson,
count 2, is
not
this your
guilty after the
verdict?
longest trial, the
Juror
most
number 10, as to
sensational
count 2,
trial
is
in
this your
American
verdict?
history.
Juror number
OJ
11,
Simpson,
as to count
not
2, is this
guilty.
your verdict?
That is Nicole
Juror number 12,
Simpson,
as to count 2,
Nicole
is this
Simpson's
your
sister
verdict?
there. Her family,
Clerk is
devastated
directed
at the
to record
verdict,
the verdict
but OJ
as
Simpson's
read.
OJ Simpson,
Parties
not
agree to waive
guilty
reading of
on
the
both
verdicts
counts
as
of murder.
recorded.
He will be released and he will be a free man. From us, good night.
That ITN special report was an extra program. Well, now on Central, and with apologies for the delay, it's home and away.